Skyfall, the 23rd Bond movie, Daniel Craig starring in his third as James Bond, this time doing what James Bond always does, saving the world from an evil villain and doing it, oh, with so much style and so much class. This is the best Bond movie I have ever seen. Let's just start there. Now, does that mean it's a perfect film? No, I do have some issues with this movie, but it's a pretty amazing Bond movie. And if you're a fan of Bond, this is a no-brainer. This is one to see. And I have to say, right off the bat, Daniel Craig, he's really embraced this role well. I really felt like, even more than his first two efforts, that he was Bond in this movie. And I really felt like in this movie, he was able to go back to kind of more classic, debonair, suave Bond. I feel like in the first two Daniel Craig movies, they were kind of had this Bourne effect from the Bourne Identity films, where it was like they wanted him to be more gritty and more hand-to-hand combat and those kind of things. And I feel like he kind of got the cool factor back in this movie a little bit, which, come on, that's what we know Bond for. And so I kind of did appreciate that. While we're talking about performances, let's talk about the villain. Javier Bardem plays this really creepy kind of former agent villain kind of guy that's out to get kind of the agency itself. And man, it is another stellar performance. I think those two things are what make this film so good, are the performances. And there's all the Bond stuff. There's the gadgets, there's the crazy over-the-top situations, there's of course the one-liners, and there's some interesting fun little ways that they incorporate the shaken not stirred and the Bond, James Bond kind of stuff that you expect to be there. But overall, this is just a good action movie. The first scene in this movie, the opening action scene in this movie, may be one of the top 10 action scenes I've ever seen. It is shot amazingly. It goes through several different sections and you always know what's going on. You feel compelled by the action. You want to see the resolution. I was enthralled by that first action scene, and there are several others that come later that are good as well, but that first one sets the stage in an amazing way. And Sam Mendes is doing it. He's not really known for being an action director, but he's more of a storyteller kind of guy, but he did a really good job. I guess in Jarhead, maybe he did a little bit with the action, but he does a phenomenal job here, and you can sense his hands on the story part. He really does a good job of crafting that. And you can sense his eye with the visuals in this movie. Stunning visuals in this movie, which, interestingly enough, as much as I like them, that comes to my main difficulty with this movie. It takes its time a little bit too much on those stunning visuals. And once I saw this, I couldn't unsee it. So beware, if you haven't seen the movie yet, and I say this to you, you may see it through the entire movie. Anytime characters are traveling somewhere or arriving somewhere, they take way too long to establish where they're at. All these different panning shots and gorgeous panoramas of where they're going and what they're doing. You know, it takes them 30 to 60 seconds to go somewhere or arrive somewhere. That's time we could be doing something that was valuable to the story, or time that I could have back after sitting in a theater for 2 hours and 20 minutes instead of an hour and 50 minutes. So it's just kind of one of those things. It's really kind of nitpicky, but at the same time, it would have helped the movie, I think, feel a lot tighter. And you still can have some of those beautiful shots. I don't want you to lose all that cinematography. I just don't know that I needed that massive amount of it. If you're a James Bond fan, see this movie, obviously. If you're not, this is still a great action movie that you might enjoy.